Monday, I made a clear address to Nigel Farage. I said, you don't have to support us, but please, Nigel, stop lying about us.
I'm not going to pick a fight here, okay? But I want to ask you all a question. I want you, when I ask a question, to put your hands in the air. How many people here voted for Labour? How many people here voted for the Conservative Party? How many people here voted for reform? Okay, as I said, I'm not here to pick a fight, but Nigel Farage, please stop kicking people out of reform for speaking up or standing with us, because you'll have no people left.
Thousands of people have taken part in a far-right protest in central London this afternoon, led by activist Tommy Robinson. There's also been an anti-racist counter-protest nearby.
I have two witnesses who saw you at Spice Lounge restaurant taking envelopes of money off of Gulfrest Khan and Mohammed Charlie Khan. What do you have to say to those allegations? Mr. Bayliss, this is your right to reply. Over 200 men's names were identified by your police investigation, but only 11 were charged. Why is that? Did you have anything to do with the cases collapsing? Mr. Bayliss, this is your opportunity to answer the questions. You have nothing to say. Do you think men should have been prosecuted for the rape of children in Telford? Did you play your part in making sure they didn't? Mr. Bayliss. Inspector Bayliss, this is your opportunity to answer questions. Why did you leave the police force? I have eyewitnesses who saw you taking envelopes of money off of Pakistani gangsters in the Spice Lounge restaurant in Oakengates. What do you have to say to those allegations? What are you hiding from, Mr. Bayliss? You've took your name off the electoral roll. You've gone invisible since 2019. Why did you leave the police force before your pension? You're not going to answer anything. Is this your version of a no-comment interview, Mr. Bayliss? Seriously, this is your opportunity to answer. I have witnesses who place you sitting round a table with Mohammed Charlie Khan, Gulfrest Khan, all known Pakistani gangsters from Telford. You're sat at a table with them receiving envelopes. What were in those envelopes? Have you took money to collapse cases? Is that why you left the police force 2 years ago, and is that why you're now in hiding? What is your relationship with Gulfrest Khan? What was your relationship? What's your relationship with Mohammed Charlie Khan? Are they your friends? Did they use you to escape justice in Telford? Nothing to say. Nothing at all to say. If you do fancy a right to reply at any time, do you want to know how you can look at me? No? Come on. We've asked our question.
Walk into the back of the yard. Are you alright?
Turn the video. Come on. Inspector Bayliss! If you're being...
Tommy Robinson has never been one to hold back, but this time he's exposing connections that could shake the corridors of power. From shocking revelations to hidden ties, he's calling out top politicians and their alleged links to rape gangs. Let's dive into what he uncovered and why it is sparking outrage.
Fucking you are on arrest. What am I under arrest for? What am I under arrest for, please?
Watch your back! Move out of the way!
Let him go! Let him go! Let him go!
Put bubble on! Bubble on! Bubble!
Hey, quick favour before we move on. If you find this political content interesting, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Most of you watch without subscribing and it's free, but it helps us out so much. Have you done it yet? Thanks a ton for the support. Now, let's get back to the video.
I have two witnesses who saw you at Spice Lounge restaurant taking envelopes of money off of Gulfrest Khan and Mohammed Charlie Khan. What do you have to say to those allegations? Mr. Bayliss, this is your right to reply. Over 200 men's names were identified by your police investigation, but only 11 were charged. Why is that? Did you have anything to do with the cases collapsing? Mr. Bayliss, this is your opportunity to answer the questions. You have nothing to say. Do you think men should have been prosecuted for the rape of children in Telford? Did you play your part in making sure they didn't? Mr. Bayliss. Inspector Bayliss, this is your opportunity to answer questions. Why did you leave the police force? I have eyewitnesses who saw you taking envelopes of money off of Pakistani gangsters in the Spice Lounge restaurant in Oakengates. What do you have to say to those allegations?
It all began when Tommy Robinson confronted former police inspector Bayliss with serious accusations linking him to Pakistani gangsters and the collapse of child abuse cases in Telford. Robinson alleged that eyewitnesses saw Bayliss accepting envelopes of money from prominent figures in the Telford grooming gangs, including Goldfrost Khan and Mohammed Charlie Khan. Despite Robinson's persistent questioning about his actions and his abrupt departure from the police force shortly before receiving his pension, Bayliss remained silent. The confrontation escalated as Robinson accused him of obstructing justice by undermining critical cases and covering up crimes. The incident drew widespread attention, with many criticising Bayliss for his silence, implying he might be concealing critical information. Outrage spread as people labelled him a corrupt officer shielding dangerous criminals. The situation sparked intense debate about police accountability and highlighted the urgent need for transparency in handling sensitive cases involving child sexual exploitation. A video soon emerged showing a heavy police presence with officers arresting Tommy Robinson. The footage, which quickly went viral, captures the tense moment as officers surround Robinson, ordering him to step aside and accusing him of obstructing their operations. The situation escalates as officers push through the crowd to carry out the arrest, sparking outrage and confusion among onlookers, who criticised the police's aggressive approach.
Oh, having him as a supporter is very helpful to our cause. I mean, goodness me. I mean, he's an absolute hero figure, particularly to young people in this country. So yes, he's very helpful indeed. Now look, everyone says, well, what about his comments on Tommy Robinson? Look, my position is perfectly clear on that. I never wanted Tommy Robinson to join UKIP. I don't want him to join Reform UK, and he won't be.
The incident triggered widespread public outrage, with many condemning the government's actions as a blatant violation of free speech. Critics accused authorities of attempting to silence Tommy Robinson for his efforts to expose grooming gangs. The arrest ignited heated debates on the delicate balance between national security and individual rights, prompting calls for a re-evaluation of how the government treats whistleblowers and activists who shed light on critical social issues.
Well, it's very good to be back with you after quite a break. I have to say, life has not been too quiet on my front, and Elon Musk absolutely guaranteed that over the course of the last few days. Now, as you might just have seen, it's been reported that Elon Musk has gone, apparently, from being one of my most fervent supporters to thinking I'm just not up to the job.
Nigel Farage recently addressed his public clash with Elon Musk over Tommy Robinson and the influence of social media in UK politics. Farage reflected on Musk's criticism, particularly concerning Robinson, a polarising figure known for his campaigns against grooming gangs. The disagreement escalated after Musk, an advocate for Robinson's free speech, criticised Farage's decision to reject Robinson's involvement in Reform UK, sparking a heated exchange between the two.
Robinson has been to prison many, many times for many, many things. Mortgage fraud, passport problems, you name it. He's got his own campaign. We are a political party aiming to win the next general election. He's not what we need.
Musk comments.
Farage clarified that while he supported Tommy Robinson's efforts to address grooming gangs, he found Robinson's approach too extreme, particularly his views on Islam. He also defended his stance by citing Robinson's criminal record and expressing concerns about the potential impact on ongoing court cases, emphasising the importance of maintaining judicial integrity. The issue sparked strong reactions from the public. Many supported Elon Musk's defence of Tommy Robinson's freedom of speech and criticised Nigel Farage for distancing himself from someone who has consistently spoken out against grooming gangs. Others argued that Robinson had done more to expose these issues than many politicians, highlighting frustrations with the political establishment's failure to address grooming gangs and its handling of Robinson's imprisonment. Questions were also raised about the transparency of the system and why figures like Musk had to step in when the government appeared unwilling to take decisive action. Nigel Farage also highlighted his party's increasing momentum and their strategy for the upcoming election. He shared that Reform UK had seen significant growth, gaining 50,000 new members. Farage also touched on the controversy surrounding Tommy Robinson, whose stance on grooming gangs has garnered support from Elon Musk, reflecting the ongoing debate over Robinson's influence and approach. While Elon Musk has commended Tommy Robinson for his efforts, Nigel Farage made it clear that Reform UK would not be aligning with him. Farage cited Robinson's controversial history and past convictions as key reasons for maintaining distance, stressing that the party's priority was to focus on winning the general election. He firmly stated that Reform UK did not see a place for someone like Robinson within their ranks. The public reaction was deeply divided. Many voiced disappointment in Nigel Farage, accusing him of failing to give Tommy Robinson the recognition he deserved for exposing grooming gangs. Some argued that Robinson was a political prisoner who deserved support, while others expressed frustration with Farage's unwillingness to address the perceived injustices against him. Robinson's supporters also warned that Farage's stance could alienate a significant portion of Reform UK voters who strongly back Robinson. Despite the backlash, Farage appeared steadfast in his approach, reiterating the party's commitment to reforming British politics and focusing on broader issues. During a critical parliamentary session, MPs debated the necessity of a proposed national inquiry into grooming gangs. Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch clashed over the issue, highlighting differing approaches to tackling the crisis. Starmer argued that the government's priority should remain on actionable measures to support victims, warning that launching another inquiry might detract from ongoing child protection efforts. Badenoch, however, emphasised the need for transparency and accountability, contending that a comprehensive investigation could address systemic failures and restore public trust. Conversely, Kemi Badenoch and her supporters accused the government of hiding the truth, suggesting that inaction and the suppression of information regarding grooming cases hinted at a possible cover-up. Public sentiment, echoed across media discussions and online platforms, overwhelmingly favoured the inquiry. Many expressed deep distrust in the government's reluctance, viewing it as a failure to confront systemic issues and deliver justice for victims. Critics claimed that rejecting the inquiry signalled a deeper unwillingness to confront systemic failures and the possibility of uncovering embarrassing revelations about institutional incompetence or neglect. The debate underscored a sharp divide between government officials' positions and the public's growing demand for transparency and accountability. Regardless of the vote's outcome, the issue is poised to remain a significant source of tension, further challenging public trust in the government's commitment to justice and reform.
Who's returned from his holiday in Madeira to yet more brickbats criticism, not only from the people of Great Britain and not only from the Tories and Reform, but now from Elon Musk as well.
Yes, it's as we've discussed before, it's astonishing how quickly this has happened, isn't it? That we've only had him for 6 months, and I don't see any turnaround for him, and I don't see. It's not as if he's taking measures that are going to be short-term unpopular and then have benefits in the long run. No. I think it's just going to go on getting worse.
Well, this is it. I mean, we still hear occasionally from people who try to kind of justify what he's doing inside the Labour Party by saying, oh, well, they have to front-load the disappointment, they have to make sure that all the bad stuff happens in the first half of their tenancy of Downing Street, because people will forget all about it by the time there's an election. Well, I don't think that's the plan at all. I think it's basically a clattering train that's out of control. I don't think that Keir Starmer is in any way in control of anything that's going on around him.
The debate over a national inquiry into grooming gangs has become a flashpoint in British politics, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer facing sharp criticism for opposing the proposal. Spearheaded by Conservative MP Kemi Badenoch, the initiative calls for a comprehensive investigation into systemic child abuse. However, Starmer has instructed Labour MPs to reject the inquiry, arguing that it prioritises social media headlines over real solutions for victims. This decision has ignited public outrage, with many accusing Starmer of attempting to suppress the truth and avoid accountability for institutional failure. The grooming scandals in cities such as Rochdale, Telford and Rotherham remain a painful reminder of the systemic failures that allowed victims to be ignored and silenced. Advocates for justice insist that a comprehensive national inquiry is crucial to uncover the full extent of the abuse and ensure accountability for those responsible. Meanwhile, social media has erupted with criticism of Keir Starmer's opposition to the inquiry, with many demanding that MPs who vote against it face consequences for failing to stand with the victims.
Frankly, to do anything, it's all very well for the Prime Minister to say, people don't want an inquiry, they want action. What action? I'll tell you what Labour want. They want no action and no inquiry. And I'll tell you why. You know why. First of all, probably first and foremost, such an inquiry would be rather embarrassing for the man who was Director of Public Prosecutions from 2008 until 2013, when all this grooming gang rape horror was going on. That was a certain Mr. Keir Starmer. Now, he's been boasting. He's actually been boasting. I was the man who green-lighted prosecutions for the grooming gang members. He did that in 2013, just as he was leaving. So from the J report in 2014, it revealed that grooming gang rapes, mass rapes, have been going on for at least 16 years. So that comes way into Starmer's tenure.
For many, the refusal to support a national inquiry is seen as a betrayal of vulnerable children and a troubling indication of the government's unwillingness to tackle the issue head-on. Pressure on Labour continues to grow as the public demands transparency, accountability and justice for the victims. The debate shows no signs of subsiding, with the call for a public inquiry becoming a pivotal issue in the political landscape and a test of the government's commitment to addressing systemic failures. Let us know your thoughts on this. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more updates like this.